All right.
Hey,
Thanks for reaching out.
hey, no problem.
Are you ready for some crazy stuff?
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Where are you based? Where are you located?
I'm actually in Vancouver, Canada.
Okay. Got it.
Yes.
And um, what type of kind of experience, work experience, or things that what have you done?
Sure. So I have an engineering degree, mechanical engineering. Graduate from Toronto. So after graduating, I started a food and beverage business.
Okay.
I ran it for 5 years something. Recently, my mom got cancer, so I had to sell it and move back to Vancouver. So after that, I decided to try to learn to code. So basically, I have time right now. I could push off my schedule.
Got it.
So I follow things like I follow politics, and I feel that if I have time, I should help.
Yeah.
So that's my story.
Okay. And then, how did you find kind of me?
Your channel.
Yeah.
Well, basically, I've been watching Tesla stock,
Mhm.
and from like I probably followed for I could check. I probably followed for a year.
Okay.
So during coronavirus, I've been listening to you.
Mhm.
My girlfriend has, and I find that the philosophy. I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot.
Okay. Cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Um, all right. So here's the situation. I'm getting like way too many inquiries, like people needing help. Like most of it is people overseas who have family in Afghanistan. So people like usually younger people who've left Afghanistan, but their families are still in Afghanistan. They have
Okay.
their brothers or sisters, their mother and father, and stuff like
Yes.
that still there, and they don't know what to do. Okay,
Okay.
that's the situation, and I'm getting too many requests, and
Okay.
um, the the challenge is this is um, there's no easy way to get them out. It's a challenging thing. And
Yes.
in order to get them out, we have to solve a bunch of problems. There's a lot of different problems to solve. And a lot of the way to solve the problems is it requires like out of the box thinking, but it also requires like relational skills too, because everything is done on trust. So we have to
Okay.
ask a person to do something or ask a favor
Yes.
to do this or, it's a complicated process. So when people ask me, oh, what can they do to help? It's tough because this is complicated stuff. And
Okay.
like the person I'm helping needs to trust me. And then the people who I'm connecting them with needs to trust me and that person. And there's multiple people that are helping. They all need to trust me so they can trust the person. So I need to build that relationship. And if I have someone who comes that, oh, I want to help a little bit, like time wise, like they don't trust that person. It's hard
Okay.
to
Okay. So you want someone that the whole thing. You want don't want
exactly.
someone to in and out.
No,
Okay.
no,
Gotcha.
no. Yeah, the person has to own some of these like families or cases, right, as their own. And I can
Okay.
introduce you as kind of a person that they should trust. And you're my partner. You're my
Okay.
partner. I'm working with you. Trust. I'm going to tell people to trust you, right? And you have to
Yes.
work on some cases to get people out.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Gotcha.
kind of the
Gotcha.
gist of it.
Gotcha.
That's why I
Yes.
can't. That's why part-time help doesn't help me. It's just more work. I don't need that. I need someone
Yeah.
who can own something. And then
Yeah.
some people, a lot of people are like, yeah, can I donate a little bit of money, like $100, $200, $500, and I'm like, I wish I could take all that money, but right now I don't want to. I'm not an organization. Like I have no need for that per se. The problem is all that extra work of getting little money here and there, and then expectations of where did that money go, and having to explain. So you have to now deal with more people. You have like extra people to deal with rather than just the people you're helping. It gets
Yeah.
complicated. So what I'm thinking is, what we need is we actually don't need a ton of people right now to pitch in a little bit. What we need is we need, for example, if you're willing to put in the time, let's say 60 hours, pretty much all day for 5 hours, that can give you the ability to take on the workload. And a lot of it isn't like always working. It's like sometimes thinking about it and just like,
Yeah. Yeah.
dwelling upon it. But if you're willing to do that, and you're willing to put some skin in the game, right? So you say you have a $500,000 portfolio. If you're willing to put 1%, 5,000, right?
Yeah.
If you're willing to do that, what we could do is I could help to find someone to match, or to actually more than match, but I think you need $20,000 to help in a
Okay.
significant way. 5,000 is going to go by pretty fast. So what I want to do is, if you're willing to commit to it for 5 days, 60 hours, 1% of your portfolio, I will try to either I will give you 15,000, so you have 20,000, right, to work with,
Okay.
or I will
Yes.
find someone to give 15,000 to you,
Okay.
to work
Okay.
with. Okay, you will
Gotcha.
take
Gotcha.
that, and now you will work with me to learn how to like help these people out of Afghanistan. But
Okay.
you will be like, have to own the cases, and like, I'm gonna be delegating stuff to you, and you can ask me questions, and you could like, learn what to do and all this stuff. But
Yes.
a lot of there's always new problems, and every day the
Yes.
situation is changing. And I don't
Yes.
know if my feeling is, this everything's gonna close up very soon. Like
I think so. I
US is
think
gonna
so
be
too.
out of here in like a week, and it's
Yes.
gonna be different game, and it's gonna be harder to get out, a lot harder as the
Yes.
borders close. So we have kind of like, that's why I say 5 days. I mean, who knows, plus or minus, but I think there's a chance we could actually, do some major impact in a short period of
Yes.
time.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't need a ton of people. I just need kind of like one or two people who will be kind of the frontline, person to coordinate, communicate with all the people leaving, get them the resources, get them the help,
Yes.
make the whole journey
Yes.
fine, communicate with them. Do you have WhatsApp?
I do. Yes.
Okay, yeah, we're using WhatsApp a lot.
Okay.
Sometimes we're Skyping, sometimes we're doing stuff, calling, but yeah, a lot of it is talking with people too, like figuring out their
Yes.
story. We have to vet people too. Like we can't just accept anybody. We have to understand like what their story is. Um,
Yes.
so yeah, most of my people are coming through referrals. So people like, there's this one woman, Fatima. She's very connected, and she has lots of friends that kind of have friends or have their family in Afghanistan.
Yes.
But I'm
Yes.
not able to help like half of her friends because it's just too much work right now. So
Do you guys have like a currently, do you guys have a way to that you guys are have a go-to method to get them out, or someone to contact, or like?
yeah. So
Yeah.
we actually have a escape route right now. So we have so one of my YouTube
Okay.
fans lives in Sweden, and
Yes.
he's Afghani, who's working there. His brother in Pakistan is helping us move people out of the border, and he's able
Okay.
to. There's like these private like underground agents who
Yeah.
go into Afghanistan and will bring them out across the border for like basically like $80 per head. It might increase because it's getting harder to go across the border, but yeah, so he's arranging that, and then he's arranging also the first 15 days of
Mhm.
lodging. So I'm providing like the funding, for the people leaving, and so you can get lodging and stuff. So
Mhm.
that's being kind of taken care of. But yeah, so I mean, we're and then there's always these like random cases that come up where maybe we can't help the whole process, but maybe we can vet something, and it's an
Okay.
opportunity where we don't want to like be responsible for the whole thing, but we want other people to be responsible, and we can provide some funding or some knowledge, right? Some help in
Okay.
different ways,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
One example is we had a group of 140 people in Kandahar who were like human rights, democracy people, filmmakers. And this morning, they didn't have money to cross the border, to hire agents to do it, and the border is getting harder to cross, and so they're kind of stuck there, and they didn't know what to do. And they have a friend in LA who's been trying to raise money, but he hasn't been able to for the longest time. And so we basically worked out a way where he got a friend in Pakistan who's going to receive the money and then
Okay.
get the agents to, or yeah, basically promise the agents that he'll give them the money, and then they'll take them out into Pakistan, and give them the money. And we actually got that done in like 5 hours. We got $12,000 sent from the U.S. to Pakistan. Yeah, it was like so much work because we had to go through an organization because
Okay.
the guy in LA wanted to, like it's just complicated. So I'm like on the phone with the president of the organization. I'm on the phone with him, and a lot of it is I'm educating them because they don't know like what's going on. They don't know that the border, you can cross the border, that there are agents and how much it costs and the needs that people have. And so a lot of times it's educating, saying, okay, no, we could do this. There's, a way, but we need to wire the money. And that's the other thing. There's a special way to wire the money into Pakistan.
Yeah, yeah.
You need to do like Western
Okay.
Union. It has to be from an Afghani or a Pakistani name, or else it flags suspicion if it's from a foreign name. And so there's a lot of like things that are know-how, to make things
Okay.
happen. But yeah, that's why it's I don't want to work with 10 part-time people or volunteers. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
I can't teach this
Gotcha, gotcha.
stuff, to all of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
need
Yeah, yeah.
just like one or two or however many who are just really really hardcore, willing to dive into it and just kind of go crazy with it, and I'll help them, and they'll be, we'll do some cool stuff. I mean,
Gotcha,
it's
gotcha.
really some amazing stuff that's been going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's this is, I mean, it's like things are happening so fast, and
Yeah.
and that's why there's still some opportunity, yeah, to make a
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been like, I like with my friends, like I always talk about human rights and
yeah,
democracy and everything like that. So I thought, okay, well, a situation like this, and I saw your tweet during a
yeah,
family dinner. I thought, okay, well, I mean, if I actually believe it, it's something I should do. And it's like
yeah,
it's a short window, so I mean, I have time for it.
exactly.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if yeah.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, let's go for it. Let's try it.
Okay, okay, yeah.
If it's like not working out, I'll let you know that, I don't
Yeah.
think you're right for the job.
I don't
But
want to slow you down. I don't want to slow you down. That's
exactly,
one thing too.
yeah, I don't
Okay,
want to get
yeah,
slowed down either.
for
Um,
sure.
so what we'll do is, are you really comfortable with 5,000?
Yeah.
Okay, if you're comfortable with 5,000, then why don't we do this? I will try to help. Um, um, let me figure something out. I'll figure something out to get either myself or someone to give you to get you 15,000 somehow.
Okay.
You're in Vancouver, right?
I am.
Okay, got it. Um, okay. Vancouver. What's your bank?
TD Bank, Toronto Dominion,
Okay, got it.
TD.
Okay. How much do you have in your own bank account, like liquid?
Um, Liquid. Well, everything I have is in the stock market. So
Okay.
liquid, I have maybe $30,000,
Okay. Wait, you have
and that's
30,000
yeah,
cash?
yeah, cash.
Okay. It's not bad. That means we have something to work with if the extra 15,000 doesn't come right away. Because sometimes it takes time to transfer and settle and stuff. So that's fine. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So just don't whatever it is, don't spend more than 5,000. I don't want you to be spending more than your intended amount. I just
Okay.
want you to have some skin in the game because I
Yeah.
think it'll feel different to you. But I'd like you to have some more firepower because
Yeah.
yeah, things like it costs money to move things and people. So let me work on
I
that. Let me
understand.
think of some ideas. We'll get the 15,000
Okay.
somehow. Um, and then you're on WhatsApp, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let me go
I'll
ahead.
text you my
Yeah. Text me.
number
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
this.
Send me
Yeah.
your number. Let's connect on WhatsApp. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start some of the newer cases like that have just come in that can't handle. I'm going to maybe create a group with you and the person.
Okay.
And then we can start communicating that way on WhatsApp, and you can start to kind of learn what's going on, ask questions. Yeah.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, one of the things also is like our Pakistan contact needs more funds because we've only sent maybe like 4 or 5 thousand, but already like we have like 5 or 6 families on the way right now. Probably 50 or 60 people, or more actually. It could be actually even up to 100, but
Big family. Yeah.
yeah, there's some of them big families, so we actually need about 10 or 20 thousand more sent in the next few days. But I'm working with someone to help coordinate. I'll introduce you. There's a guy, Adrian. He's reached out and he's kind of like trying to help me coordinate the sending of money to Sweden, where the brother is of the brother who's the fan of my channel, who watches my channel. He's there, and he's gonna send it to his brother in Pakistan, who's coordinating everything there.
Okay.
But yeah,
I mean, from what I'm hearing from you, it's a lot of funds transfer. Other than funds transfer, is there anything that's coordination, communication? I'm sure like you'll
yeah,
introduce some people to me too.
yeah.
Is that what's what the main I guess time, like 12 hours a day? That's what it is. Communication basically.
So it's basically, think about it. You're introduced to a family and they're trying to get out, but there's so many issues, so many challenges. Like, what if one of the family members doesn't want to go?
Oh,
Like, what do you do in that case, right? What if like they don't have money to go, right? To take a bus, or what if it's like a mother and two daughters? We have one family like that who doesn't want to go because there's no mail. Right? Can you find a mail, like, or another family? Can you coordinate another family to go with them at the same time?
okay,
What
gotcha.
Like yeah, there's a lot of different issues, and yeah, I mean the reality is we're not going to be able to help everyone, but my strategy is this is okay, so first priority is people who kind of like I have a connection or relationship already with. So if there's a person who's like a subscriber, viewer of my channel and stuff, I feel like there's some connection there. And if they say they're Afghani and their family is in Kabul or something, and they're wanting to help their family, to me that's more of a priority. And if I can vet that person, I might do a Skype interview or something, right? The second kind of priority is, okay, the people like who my channel subscribers referred to. So let's say someone who's watching my channel and not just one video, but let's say, a significant amount. And they're like, oh, my friend is an Afghan who has their family in Kabul, so that also is something where it's like, there's some connection, the reason is because like part of it, there needs to be some trust where it's like, okay, there's some like a connection where this person's trusting me, and then so his friend can trust their friend and trust me, right?
Yes.
So there's like that type of thing is underrated. It's really important because sometimes there's like problems that arise and you need this like trust, and so that's where I'm prioritizing those type of cases, and then I'm prioritizing the cases of the people we're working with, their friends, right? So these friends usually live in Canada or US or Australia or somewhere where they're Afghans who have left the country, but their family is inside the country still. Most of the people, surprisingly, it's like, some of the first people, and then their friends have been mostly this ethnic group called the Hazara people. They're
Hazara.
Yeah, Hazara people. They're
Okay.
like kind of Shia Muslim. They're a minority religious and ethnic group in Afghanistan that's been historically, previously, they've been discriminated against by the Taliban, and so they're more very heightened alerts right now, and a lot of them are wanting to leave. There's a large Hazara community in like Quetta, Pakistan, which is kind of the place where we're trying to direct people to, and my whole thing is like, so there are two problems here. One is like the escape problem, like getting them out, settling them for just 2 weeks. Then there's this longer term problem of like, what if they can't leave that area? What if it's 1 year, 2 year, 5 year, 10 years, who knows? Like there's a lot of challenges. They have to apply for refugee programs, they have to get accepted, or if they don't, how do they support themselves in a new country? They might not know the language. That's a different issue. Like this is something that each family needs to decide on themselves, whether or not they're going to leave, right? And if they leave, then they need to, like, it's going to be like a challenge. And some of these families are going to have a hard time the first month or two, or even years, depending on their situation. So, for me, that's more of kind of a longer term like thing. I think maybe organizations can help with that are more just like have more resources, have more time commitment to that area, to those people, etc. What I'm kind of more directed on is there is a quick window of opportunity, like a 1 week, where it's like no one knows what's going on, no one has information, and a lot of people are trying to leave, but they don't have the money, they don't know what to do or how to, like there's just so much disconnect and noise. And so my whole thing is, hey, can we do anything that can help people who are already wanting to get out and desperate to get out, get the right information, get the right connections, and get the funding they need to get the help, right, to get out before it gets super hard. So basically after a week or so, and US is out, everyone's out, the borders close up, people are still going to be able to get out some way. The problem is it's going to be very costly and very dangerous, because they're going to have to go through like the mountains and get smuggled out, like with just crazy stuff. And it's like, that's fine, but you're gonna have to have a good amount of resources, like for each person, and it's gonna be dangerous and can't be suitable for everyone. And it's a different game. Like that game, I'm not like that whole area of like this long term getting people out. I'm like I don't know if that's really what I'm trying to do here. Like I just feel like there's a huge moment of crisis, of a time where there's a window where it could be.
It's more effective, right?
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
More efficient this way.
It could be. Right? It could be where thousands. Like here's the thing. I just wanted to start with just trying to see if I could help one person leave that's trying to leave, right? That otherwise couldn't leave. If I could just through my efforts or funds or whatever help one person get out that wouldn't have gotten out, then that's worth it, right? That's great. But the other side was, I have a hunch that we could help a lot more, because the window of opportunity is like it's a big like explosion in history, that things are messy, and it's possible that quite a few people can be helped. And
I'm definitely on board. I'm definitely on board. Like I read about, or like watched video about like the North Korea stories, and like it's just like, or like East Berlin, people can't leave. Like I feel like the window is right now, and like I'm down to help if I.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Also, I'll go ahead and I've got like about 60 or 70 people in a Twitter chat group. These are people who've contacted me who've wanted to help with funds or anything else, and I've been kind of keeping them up to date. I'll add you to that group, and I'll introduce you. And so there's some great people there. A lot of people have donated and just helped in different ways already. But I think this is gonna, right now that group is great, but it's not expediting.
Organized.
It's not expediting my efforts. It's taking up another piece of my efforts in a way. You know what I'm saying? So it's a struggle. I want people to be involved, but it's a struggle. So but this hopefully hopefully it could, what I need is I need a replication of myself in a way. Right?
I understand.
So hopefully we'll see how it works, and let's get to it. I'll go ahead and I'll text me your WhatsApp, and then we'll start communicating, and we'll see what goes. And then what time do you usually sleep?
I can sleep, well, normal times, but I could sleep anytime. Like if it's for a good cause. I mean, what's sleeping at 4 a.m. like, right? Doesn't matter.
Are you married? Do you have kids or?
Well, I have a long-term 10-year girlfriend. I'm not married.
Got it.
But
just wondering if
I have time.
you have time. Because what's going on is so in Afghanistan, it's starting to get like morning time. So what time is it? It's like it's probably like 8 o'clock or something. Yeah, 9 o'clock Afghanistan time. So people are
Yeah.
waking up, and here's what happens. Man, it's so crazy. Every day, people like wake up and they get like they start to realize like the window is closing, and so there's
Mm.
more urgency. Like
Yes.
so in the morning, it's like I get more messages. People are like, okay, I need to get out now. Like, just like this extra step of urgency. And so um, it's like
How are you receiving these requests? If someone is in Afghanistan
yeah, usually it's one of the people I'm helping. So it's like, um, it's either like, for
or
example,
friends.
yeah, so the first few people like Fatima and Rabia were I interviewed them on my channel. So it's like they said, hey, I have another friend, who has family. I have another friend. So they've introduced me to about like yeah, about 5 or 6 or 7 people. And yeah, they have different needs. Yeah, some have a lot of needs, some have different needs. It's weird, but each situation is so different. So the whole idea is we need to just solve that family's problem to get out. Like, it's actually a very simple equation. Like, here's a family, like, and we have to figure out like how bad do they really want to get out. Like, if they don't really
Yeah.
want to get out, then it's like, okay, we have other people. It's like they have to make their own decisions in some ways.
Yes.
But it gets complicated in some ways because what if the person overseas, let's say in Canada or the US, really wants their family to get out, right? It's like dying to get their family out. But what if their family is like wishy-washy? It's a tough
That's a
one.
waste of time. It's a lot of time to
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because yeah, sometimes part of the family really wants to go. I mean, it's a mess. But anyways, I'll go ahead and yeah, we'll communicate, and I'll start getting you yeah, into discussions, and yeah, we'll see how it goes. And our first families, they're hopefully going to be getting out, like crossing the border today. So it's like
nice.
9 a.m. today. The border just kind of half closed yesterday, meaning
Oh my
they're
God.
not letting everyone in anymore. Before, you could just have an Afghan ID card
Yes.
and you can cross up until yesterday. Like, but yesterday they changed it where they're actually like giving people a hard time. Like, you really have to like have a reason and different things.
Yeah.
So the
You know exactly where this is heading. You know they're trying to close it. They're trying to kidnap all these people, hold them hostage, do whatever, right?
well, actually, I don't know
You
if
know what happened.
well, actually, it's on the Pakistan side. So
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So what's happening is all these people, like 8,000 or so people with just the ID, have been crossing, and then in Quetta, it's been over flooding, kind of the mosques and just different places. Like, people can't find a place to stay. Like, you can't even. It's hard to rent a house and stuff because so many people are flooded there, and so it's just obvious Pakistan's going to close the border because, right? Usually you only let in people who have visas to your country, right? And so this is like a loophole right now. This border. So do a map search. This border in Chaman. So go to Afghanistan and type in Kandahar, Kandahar.
Okay.
Okay, so Kandahar, you'll see Kandahar. Then you see it crosses the border at Chaman. It's
Yeah.
like that border crossing is also called like Spin Boldak, a border crossing, and then
Yes.
it goes into Quetta, Pakistan. Okay.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Okay.
It's
So what
like a
we're trying to
highway.
do is we're trying to get people from Kabul, right?
Kabul.
Yeah, all
Yes.
the way down to Kandahar, which is a 13-hour kind of bus ride.
That's a long way.
Yeah, and then from there we go to the our Pakistan partner will send a escort and meet them and try to get them across the border. But even that, it's a long journey to get across, man. I
Okay.
mean, this is
Yeah.
it's crazy
So
stuff.
with the family or the girl that you interviewed,
Yeah.
you just want to, I guess, replicate that for now, right? Replicate that with other families.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to replicate in the sense each family is different, but we have a path right now, which is
Okay.
people need to get from Kabul to Kandahar, and then from Kandahar, we're helping some people cross. But okay, so here's the other thing. some people don't have money to go from Kabul to Kandahar because the banks are closed. And okay,
Yeah.
and
To Sunday, right?
yeah, not
Crazy.
yeah, but it's
You don't even know.
with the Taliban. Who knows? I don't know when it's going to open. But um, the other thing is, so there's this thing called Hawala. It's an informal money transfer system. It's very advanced actually, but we can possibly send stuff from Pakistan to Kabul through this. It's like do a Google search Hawala HAW
HAW.
yeah HAWALA yeah
ALA.
yeah.
Okay.
So Hawala, you'll see it's like this crazy, like complex, relational money system. But basically, we could try to use that to, and our Pakistan contact has, knows about that. If people, don't have money, but here's the other second problem. Since like yesterday or 2 days ago, the buses and the transportation to Kandahar is getting harder and harder to find, or the tickets are selling out fast, and it's because people are trying to get down there, and it's like it's kind of frustrating because like 3 or 4 days ago it wasn't like that and the border was open, and I was like urging people like drop your stuff, go right now, and it takes time for some of these larger families to actually like wrap up things
Yeah.
and decide and all this stuff, and because it's a big trip, they're leaving their country, but it's like every hour, every day they wait, it's like the door closes, and it's
Yeah.
difficult to communicate to people inside the country like, hey, this opportunity, like when I was like 3 or 4 days ago, I'm like, the border's wide open with only an ID card.
Hmm.
This is crazy, it's not gonna last. But it's hard to communicate that sometimes because they're like, oh, but I heard from a friend that it's dangerous to go down there right now,
Hmm.
right? And it's like, oh my gosh, it's like it's not that dangerous actually, because it's like people are taking that route all the time, and they're like, oh, I heard the border crossing is like super dangerous, and it's not. At least it's getting more crowded now, but it wasn't. And they hear rumors, so it confuses them, and they're like, it's like, yeah,
Do
it's
you have, sorry, do you have on the ground like information about like, okay, is people crossing that border at that Pakistan, like it's still open? Do you
yeah.
have like on the ground information?
Yeah, so I've got several sources. So okay, here's how I'm teaching you all this stuff because this is what you're gonna need to be doing. You're gonna have to continue this and build on it. And I hope other people actually learn this stuff because there's gonna be more crises, more crazy stuff happening. Who knows when, but not just with Afghanistan, who knows where. But so what I did was I started to just like do a bunch of stuff. I started to like contact people. DM journalists working in the area, anyone who mentions, the border or different places, airport, etc. Trying to figure out like, you know, what's happening where, and just who cares if they don't reply? I'm just gonna do it, right? I mean, it helps because I have a decent amount of Twitter followers and I get sometimes more replies, but um, yeah. So like, I was able to contact a journalist on the Pakistan side who covers the border crossings. And she's like, yeah, the Torkham border is closed, but the bottom Chaman is open. I'm like, how do you know? And she's like, well, yeah, I know two people who just crossed yesterday, couple like Afghani people with, ID cards, right? And so she's like, hey, I'm like, can you keep me updated? And so basically, like, I have her WhatsApp number now, and I'm able to text her and say, okay, what's going on in Chaman border. Sometimes she might not know, but yesterday she's like, oh yeah, I'm headed there right now, tomorrow to the Chaman border. So she's one of those people who like is able to give some real time on the ground info. The problem is the more people know about this border, the more people come and the faster Pakistan closes it. So it's like, it's a mixed thing. And then we have people on the ground, like for example, this morning, I have a YouTube subscriber was like texting me. He's been giving me some info. He has a friend in Kandahar, and he told me, yeah, the border's open in Chaman like about 3 days ago, and I was able to confirm it with other people like this journalist and some other people. And then this morning he texts me and he says, hey, I heard the border is now closed. So I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. So I texted our our Pakistan partner, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's in contact with these escorts, and he's like, yeah, it's got more difficult to cross the border, but he's he's confident that he thinks he can get people across still. And so
Okay.
that's why I call it half closed right now, because what does that mean? It means that if you are kind of a refugee trying to get across, they're not going to be very favorite. They're not going to want to let you in. So you have to have a different excuse. You're not a refugee. So basically, if you're just going to walk up there and say, hey, I want to get across because I'm Afghani, and you don't have anything else, they're not going to let you in anymore. It's before they did, actually, the last 4 days before yesterday. What you need is an escort. You need someone who's like going to take you maybe in a vehicle, like give an excuse, maybe pay a bribe or something, and who knows how to get you across, right? And it's still open for that, but soon it's going to close to that, meaning like that's not going to happen. That's not going to work anymore, right? And so once that stops working, then it's like once we can't get people through the border with like these traditional like escort like agents, then
what's your second like? What's tough. The second best? What's the second best like route right now?
That's the only route. I mean, okay, the other route, the two major routes. Okay, here's the other thing. Torkham. So if you just type in Kabul in Google Maps and then go, east, and you'll see, east to Peshawar, Pakistan.
Yeah, I see it. Yes.
Yeah. So that border is called Torkham, Torkham.
Okay.
That border now. Okay, here's another thing: is that border is closed. What closed means is you need a passport and a visa to get in from the Afghan side. Meaning, if you're Afghani, you need an Afghan passport and you need a Pakistan visa to get across. Okay. So a lot of people don't have a passport even. Okay. But some people who have a passport don't have a visa. Right. So none of those people can get in. You have to have a passport and a Pakistan visa to get across that border. So the other thing is some people who are like Hazara, they don't want to go to that area because it's not friendly to them. So they'd rather go south to Kandahar, to Quetta, because there's a large Hazara community down there. And then the other escape route right now is the Kabul airport. And so this is super complicated. It changes every day. And it's like I'm helping some people like at the airport, and it's really frustrating, and it's really like it's hard to know like the chances of getting out. But the prerequisite is you need state department approved documents. Like the State Department needs to have given you a visa with your name on it, and like saying that you're approved as like a basically a special immigrant visa. It's like you're an ally of the U.S., you worked with the U.S., etc. But it needs to be personalized and approved. And even after having that,
Taliban taking that away? Taliban's been taking that away, right?
No. So there's all these reports, and there could be small cases in there, but generally the Taliban has been like. So here's the thing. It's like, it's complicated because on the U.S. side, inside the airport, let's say here's the wall. On the U.S. side, they can only take in a certain amount that they have on their planes. But then the problem is on the planes, they can only take in enough in the plane where they have a place to go. So before they were going to Qatar, and they were taking any Afghan, national citizen, they take them to Qatar for processing before they can take them to other places. But Qatar filled up, and Qatar doesn't want any more people anymore. So U.S. is taking them, I think it's to Albania or somewhere else. When that fills up, they have to take it somewhere else. But the problem is like this stuff fills up, and then like a lot of times it's like done last minute, and then they might have a hard time finding a new place. So after Qatar, like for half the day, they couldn't fly anybody out because they didn't know where to take them. And so almost all day people are just waiting at the airport. No one's getting let come in because like they can't take them anywhere because they have no place to take them, right? So it's like crazy. And then like yesterday there were reports of ISIS, so then they started to change like the airport configuration, like put up different walls, and then I think the US set up some type of separate like meeting area where it's like a different place outside of the airport where you can go to, because the airport is hard to get to now because it's like surrounded by mobs of people. And so they're telling some Americans like go, or some, I'm not sure other countries, but go to this special area, it's outside the airport, and meet there, and then they bus convoy the people into the airport, and the Taliban actually escorts the bus into the airport, so they can avoid the crowds. But again, it's like limited supply. I mean, I did hear reports of the U.S. like commissioning some like commercial aircraft. Who knows what will happen? It could go one way where the U.S. Somehow miraculously just ups the evacuation a lot and actually gets most of these SIV families out. But the problem is you need to have those documents. So we have a family I'm working with. They have the application in, but and I contacted a journalist to contact their friend in the State Department. They got it escalated. We got a reply from the State Department saying it's been flagged and notice all this stuff. But it's been like 5 days and we had nothing. And all they could say is like we were bogged down. So it's like even if you have an application in, it doesn't really mean much until you get that final type of State Department approval with your name and the visa on it. Then with that, you have a fighting chance to get into the airport. Otherwise, it's like you're just like it's just a pipe dream to get into the airport if you don't have those type of documents. If you have a foreign like passport, that's another thing you can get in, like if you keep on trying, right? But we're talking about Afghans right now with Afghan passports. It's extremely tough at the airport. Yeah.
Understood.
There are some. Okay, there are some.
I don't know how to start.
Yeah, there are some other routes that I just don't know about. There's always routes. But Afghanistan is a big country too. You can go west, you can go north, and sometimes it's like there's ethnic kind of divisions and stuff. So some people don't want to go to different places because it's like more risky for them. And they're different like countries, like there's Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, like up north. And so there are probably stuff, but it's like, yeah. So anyways, one of the things you could do is like, do some crazy, like do what I'm doing, which is like crazy on the ground research. And you start to just like DM people, reply, Twitter people, say, hey, I'm working on this. I need to know some information. Help me out. I'm helping families get out of Afghanistan, etc. And you could include my name. So just say, hey, I'm working with Hey Dave 7 to get people out of Afghanistan, whatever. And I need ask some questions, and it'll be good for me to see what you're doing too. But yeah, like I shoot out a lot of stuff. Like like whatever I see is interesting. I'm just like, okay, DMing or doing something to try to get some information. So. I do Twitter searches on border, Afghanistan border crossing, etc., and then follow up. A lot of the people who you might start communicating with, some of them, they're not worth following up, but a few of them might actually be really important contacts that have like some really like not just good information, but like they're really connected too, right? So you want to build that stuff, and there's no easy way. You just have to like one by one, like contact. Introduce yourself, just like over and over. And yeah, it's a labor.
Is Twitter your main way of like finding out what's happening or like finding context?
It's kind of mixed. Twitter is probably majority. It's also like probably a majority, because like even like my YouTube subscribers, sometimes they'll like say they'll give me a tip or something via Twitter, like if they know somebody who has information or something, or like, hey, I have some people in Pakistan that are willing to help, the families or something. Like this comes through Twitter, but then usually it's maybe a YouTube subscriber, right, who's contacting me through Twitter. It's just like an inbound thing. But and then some of the information is like just people that I've been introduced to, or like our contact in Pakistan, like talking with him, so I learn more. Or then the people I'm helping, they're learning more too, so they share information with me back. Like for example, there's a UNHCR, it's like the refugee office in Quetta, where after they arrive, they should register at that office as a refugee, and then they could start to apply for different refugee programs and stuff, right? But like that type of, like we need like that's there's information that is circulating and that like it's shared, but you have to be part of the crowd, the people, the in crowd who gets that information. So, but the only way to do that is you have to like become friends and share with this information. So that's part of your goal. You're trying to be friends with these people who are sharing the information. So I'll introduce you to some people, and we just need to continue to get the information, share the information too. So that's part of it. You get information, you share information, trade information, all that stuff. I mean, I'll introduce you to some of the families who are already helping, so you can like they'll know you that you're helping out and stuff. And yeah.
I hope I can help. It's a tough situation.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, I'll definitely, like, one of the things I'll help you look at your YouTube, like your YouTube comments. I'm not sure if you have like time to like look at all of it. I'll try to look at that as well on top of the Twitter thing, and I'll try to I mean like for me, I'm thinking like I'm not sure how to start this. I'm not sure where to start it. Looking at
the focus is always on a family we're helping.
Okay, family.
Yeah, so we get a new request from someone we know, like one of the people we're helping, and then we need to vet them and like find out what their situation is. How do they know this other person, right? Etc. How many people are in their family? Like we need to know what are their plans. How bad do they want to go? We need to just get the whole picture, And then sometimes we need to establish some type of communication. So most of the time, I'll actually Skype call them, or WhatsApp call. But I want to have some type of face-to-face interaction, so I get to know them. And their story, and then after that, it's about solving their problem. I mean, it's pretty straightforward actually. You just got to solve their problems, or help them. Help them to solve the problems. Yeah.
Gotcha. Have them ready. Like, is everyone on board? Have them ready to go if the chance comes. Like, we could move them, that kind of thing.
It's more like they need to, like, if they want to go, they need to leave and they need to get tickets to Kandahar. Like they have to like jump on it. We can provide help from Kandahar, and we can provide support, right, for them and the connections and contacts and everything they need, but they have to jump on it. And we can help solve some problems for them, that's the thing. But they need to be the ones like doing coming down.
I understand it. If you have more people to get to, like, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Like, I understand what you're saying.
No. I'm gonna be this will be important. So I will. This is the what you're doing right now is the most important thing, because it gives me the opportunity to replicate and to actually be able to handle some more people. Otherwise, anything else, I can't figure out how that helps me help more people. Like money right now doesn't help that per se, because it doesn't really replicate me. It's just and part-time help doesn't help me right now. It's the only thing that helps is like someone who could really dive into it, and help people solve problems and be like, and you have to gain the expertise too, the knowledge, or else it's not gonna be helping people. So
Okay. If I ever am slowing you down, just let me know. Like, no hard feelings. Okay.
All right.
Thanks so much.
Okay. Tim, take care.
Okay. Thank you.
We'll see you.
Take care. Bye.
All right, bye.